All right, we are going live. Good afternoon for most. Good morning where I am. It's about 10:20 in the morning right now. Qualifying just finished here. I'm just going to share the link in a couple places. It is an absolute shit show for me here this morning. I took over MLB projections for DFSR, working on that sheet on Sundays. I hadn't in the past. I've transitioned into that. Just so happens to be same day qualifying, which just so happens to end within the last hour of baseball. So I'm doing about five, six things here at once. I also got some League of Legends sheets up here today. The NASCAR sheet is updated with qualifying. The model's updated. I've got a couple picks. I'm going to go through those picks here live with you. There's some picks that stood out, but qualifying was crazy. There was two red flags in the first stage, which hurt Chase Elliott. Both red flags affected his laps, so he's going to start outside. Kyle Busch, we already knew he was going to the back after yesterday's practice session. He did not run a lap, so he's going to have fresh tires, an extra set of fresh tires, still starting for you. So chalky on both of those guys. I'm just going to share a couple things here. Before we get going here, we have transitioned. We're in July now. Happy July 4th to all my American friends out there. Hope you guys have a great day. I hope there's a lot going on, lots of barbecue, lots of beers, and some NASCAR racing, of course. So before we get into that, I just want to jump over here. We have transitioned over to our new Patreon. I want to give a shout out to Aaron Odell, one of my members. He's been a member over at RotoPros. Before we closed there, he's transitioned over to Patreon. He reached out to me and asked me about designing a logo. He designed this logo here right in the center. And I've worked that in with some other sponsorship stuff here on my Patreon page. But awesome shout out to him. He got the colors, the Jägermeister colors in there, which I love. He's got the multiple sports stuff in here to tie that all together. I love the coat of arms. And then he tied the Jägermeister horns in there as well on the coat of arms. I absolutely love it. So thanks to him. So yeah, if you are new, you're joining the show, you're looking to maybe give me a try over on Patreon, ask the guys in chat here for feedback. I'm going to have some free trials coming up here, probably into August as the full transition gets done here. But in the meantime, if you're looking to sign up, try us out for a month. I have brought on Dane, Kenny, and Ryan over to the team. They were with me over on RotoPros. So we've transitioned over. So I brought three more members onto the team, and the pricing structures here, we currently have 13 different membership levels. Some of them are inactive right now just because the sports aren't in, but I'm going to go over them anyway. We've got a UFC package, a big UFC fight next week, PGA package, NBA, NASCAR, tennis, MLB, college sports, that's football and basketball, NFL package, League of Legends, and we cover LCS, LEC, LPL, and LCK. Four different leagues there, covers you all week long. Soccer, we mostly cover Champions League and EPL, but right now we've got Euros on here right now as well. CFL package, Ryan's going to be covering that when it comes on. I'm going to touch on that a little bit as well. Going to try and put a sheet together, just a little bit harder with CFL with the way the stats are set up, but I will try. NHL package, and then the all sports package. So the pricing here is in Canadian dollars. So it's $13.50 for one sport, $27 for all sports. In American dollars, that's $10 for one sport and $20 for all sports package. You can also sign up for a yearly subscription and you get a 16% discount on that, which works out to about 2 months free. So you pay for the year and you get 2 months free. So you're paying for 10 months really to get 12 months of content. So yeah, we have a Discord chat that's we have up and running now. A lot of content in there as well. We share the direct links to the sheet. Chase that Elliott. There he is. I've been waiting for that. James. Hello, Mondo. Hello, Liz. Hello, JJ. Thanks everyone for joining. Again, happy 4th of July. Things are absolutely crazy for me right now. So if I kind of wander off and talk about baseball here just for a little bit, I'm sorry. I'm working on projections for, like I said, DFSR as well as my own sheet. As well as working with about 3 or 4 different chats and Twitter, interacting with people. So throw your questions in. I'll definitely get to them. Like I said, we're going to go over the qualifying here in just a second. I'm going to share the sheet with you now. We will dive into everything that we've seen here with qualifying. I am going to... We don't want that. We don't want more of me than the sheet. Okay, we'll go with this for now. So what happened was, like I said, Kyle Busch didn't run a qualifying lap. He was already going to the rear. So what he did is save some tires. So these guys in red, Priest is the other guy who had trouble yesterday going to a backup car and will start at the rear. They are highlighted in red. There's only 2 of them. Chase Elliott, like I said, got caught in both red flags in that first session of the qualifying this morning, which hurt him for sure. He didn't get in a lap. So he'll be starting back in 34th. Those 2 are definitely going to be my core today. They're going to be chalk as well. Just simply comes down to on a road course. Just give me a second here. I will show you how I go about adjusting this matrix, because we don't need any of this, all this data on here for you guys. Just confusing. It just helps with the formulas, all that is. So here we go. We're in here now. We'll sort by pricing. I have to, again, I apologize for all this. I usually have all of this prepared, but the same day qualifying and working on 7 things at once has just got me a little bit flustered. I wasn't going to do the show, but I said, you know what? I have to do the show, and I can see the matrix is already messed up. Give me just a second here, folks. Yes, I see what the issue is. There we go. That should work now. We'll fire that off to the end and hide all this. We'll get rid of some of that info. We get just the points, and now we should be able to sort by dollars. There we go. So it really comes down to math again here. You can go with Kyle Larson. This is a road course race. There's only 62 laps. He is starting second. Him or Byron do have a chance at leading. I just want to look at some road course history here this season and look at some laps led totals. Kyle Larson dominated, won the race. That was at Sonoma. Going back to Circuit of America, 14 laps, 12 laps. Those were your top 2 there. 44 was Elliott. He started from the pole. So one of these guys can definitely dominate here today. I think Byron has a best chance. I think he's got a little more experience here. If Stan, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I know he has experience in the Xfinity series, while Larson doesn't. They were kind of talking about Larson not having much experience and kind of learning on the track as the race goes along, whereas Byron has had experience here. And honestly, if we're picking a dominator out of those 2, I really do like Byron. You get the 1,100 discount. So when it comes to, let's just say 40 laps led, Larson leads 40 laps led. He still doesn't get and wins the race. He's still not in Chase Elliott or Kyle Busch territory. Give him those fast laps. That's kind of projection. So I'm going to go 30 and 10 just to be kind of like a safe estimate. It doesn't get there for him. Elliott in second, Kyle Busch in 4th or 5th is going to have the same amount of points as Kyle Larson in that scenario. So Larson is probably going to be a fade for me. It might not work out, but this seems to be just, math related. This is what's going to happen, or not what's going to happen, just what I project to happen in terms of the math for scoring. I think Byron has a better chance than Larson to dominate. I think, I don't think Byron is cheaper than Larson. So his upside is going to be more naturally. He can get more up into, if he dominates 30 and 10, or even, like I said, 40 and 20, he's getting up into that close to 6x, which I don't think we're going to need. I think 6x is probably going to win you a tournament today. Maybe with the place differential, we get in 6.5x territory, but 4 to 5x is definitely fine today. So I'll take a 4x from all these cheap guys, but from these guys I'm paying up for, I changed that. I think I probably should have switched this around because we only do have 62 laps. It should be 3, 4, and 5. So I'm actually going to fire that off real quick, because I do think we see some lower scoring just because of the laps, obviously. I had this in just because of it's in the template for normal races. So we're going to change up the formula here, and then we'll see some more numbers. So you get to see pretty much how everything's put together each week as I'm doing it, the live show here right now, doing it this way. So sorry if it's boring, but if you're making your own copy of the sheet and you're adjusting your models, you're kind of getting them insight into how I look at things and how I organize things here. So like for Elliott, 4x for him is 58 points, so that's pretty much a win. So I think he could probably lead a couple, see some fast laps in there as well. I think Kyle Busch can see some fast laps, so they got big upside here today. I don't think we're going to see 5x out of him. I mean, he's 14.5, so the price is just crazy. So Kyle Busch would definitely be number one. Chase Elliott number two. If I was going to do rankings, I don't think I'm going to get my rankings in here as well. Yes, Allmendinger was definitely fast, way down at 8,900. So you get I don't want to call him a ringer anymore because a lot of guys are a lot better. You know, we got more road courses on the circuit now. He does have a lot of experience, you know, with the Xfinity Series now being full time there, racing a lot of road courses. He was good in road courses when he was a full time Cup driver. Now he's racing some in the Cup car. I believe that is an entry number is that, yeah, the 16 there. So let's call a Racing entry. They're really good on road courses. So I like Dinger at 8,900. That seems like a value. And, you know, place differential, we don't need to just dismiss guys that aren't going to give us place differential value because especially we see him at 9,000 here. Let's slide over and okay, so these are pulling in FanDuel prices. Unfortunately, that's why that is there. I have figured that out now. Like the price is wrong. That just doesn't look right. So just give me a second here and we'll get some correct math going. Yeah, there's Eversley without a DK price. I'm not sure if they updated one or not. I doubt it. They don't do like golf and just add someone to the field after. Don't know why. They've had 4 days to do it. Correct me if I'm wrong again. Don't have a DraftKings thing open here today. Yeah, so there we go. Instead of 3, 4, 5x, I should have reverted back to the 4, 5, 6, but whatever. I'm just going to do that now while you're all with me. So definitely it's going to be Kyle Busch and Elliott at the top. So we're going to change this again. Just intriguing live show today, everyone. Thanks for joining me on your July 4th. This intriguing look on how I adjust and then readjust formulas on my sheet. Hey, David, big news to qualifying is Chase Elliott and Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch was already going to the rear with Ryan Preece because of yesterday. During qualifying, Busch did not run a lap or at least went very slow to save the tires. So he's going to have an extra set of tires with getting elite place differential, easily the top play on the slate. Now that I've got the matrix adjusted, we can see if he wins, he is over 6x without any dominator points. Absolutely love that. Now we can go and give Larson that, let's just say he dominates 40 and 20. Him and Kyle Busch, he needs to dominate 40 laps, 20 fast laps, and Kyle Busch needs to win the race. They both have the exact same upside. There is way less risk in Kyle Busch, in my opinion. He's cheaper, and he doesn't need to dominate at a track where we don't normally see, or not a track, but road courses where we normally see some changes, some strategy, and that changing hands. He also has to contend with his teammate, William Byron, who I think is my favorite dominator. If we go and give him those 40 and 20, that puts him kind of in that 6 to 7x range. I think 7x is what it's going to take. Readjusting on these numbers now, 7x is probably going to be somewhere in the range 6.5 to 7. So we're going to see a winning lineup. 5x is probably going to get you cash for sure in a GPP and for sure in a double up if you're playing cash games. If you're playing cash games, you need Kyle Busch in your lineup. I don't know if you can fit Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott. I'm going to bring up a DK here in a bit. So I will definitely be looking at that. So we're going to go down now. I will look at some value plays and see how we can tie it all together. I'm just trying to open a DraftKings here to get that ready so I can bring that across and we can have a look at that as well. Make the sheet a little bit bigger so you guys can see. I will hide this now that we don't need to sort. And we'll come back across. So Kyle Larson's a risky GPP pivot here. If Chase Elliott has issues, doesn't, hit, let's just look here. Chase Elliott at 5x is 53. So if he finishes outside the top 5 and is kind of in that 5th to 10th, which puts him at 4x, I don't think that's enough at that price for him. And Kyle Larson, even, let's just say he 20 laps led, 10 fast laps. He's going to be over 5x if he wins. So I do think I'm not going to be, if I was doing 20 max, let's put it this way, I would not be fading Larson. 3 max, I probably will. I make more stands in that top tier. I usually want exposure to like only 4 of these guys at 9K and up. in my 3 max builds. So I would fade him in that scenario. But Larson's not a fade for sure. He's just going to be a little bit lower owned for sure, and can definitely go ahead. The same can be said for Martin Truex too. If we go and look at practice here, Truex was 19, so there's some concern there. He qualified 9th. So it'd be Larson would be my favorite GPP pivot off of Elliott and Busch. Logano and Truex, they struggled in practice. They give you a little bit more place differential, so I'm okay with going with them as GPP pivots. They're not going to be core plays for me. If you're going with a dominator, like I said, if you think Byron can lead 20 laps, 20 laps, 10 fast laps, he's getting you 5x in that range, a second, third place finish. So if you think he's one of the top cars, top 3 car, let's just go up to the right line here, just all over the place here. So a third, third or fourth is going to be fine for you, right around that 5x if he leads 20 laps. So there's still a little bit of risk there. He needs to be a dominator to kind of get you that 5-6 upside for GPP. So keep that in mind. He's not going to be a core play for me. He is a nice GPP play. If you think there's a dominator, like I was just showing here earlier with the road courses earlier this season, we've seen Kyle Larson, his teammates here, and Chase Elliott, 2 of the last 3 road courses this season, have seen someone lead 40 plus laps, and it was his teammates. And where did Larson start? Both started from the pole. So if that trend continues, we really do have to consider William Byron getting out front and leading laps here. I think there's some risk to it for sure, but I think it can happen. So if you're looking for a dominator, I think it's a GPP strategy going for dominator today, but Byron over Larson. But those would be my 2 and only dominator picks for this race. We talked about Allmendinger here. So at 9K for him, we need 45 points. You pretty much need a win. So again, he's going to be GPP. Honestly, I'd be loading up on Kyle Busch and Elliott and maybe making some pivots elsewhere. Looking at road courses, Kurt Busch has been good. He's starting 16th. He was fast in practice. He was number 1 in practice. So he's going to be definitely a core play as I move down the list. I'm just going to be moving down the list. So I'm going to be looking at the questions as well. So as I see them, I will definitely be answering them. Davidson, Scrub, Road Racer. I'll jump down and have a look at that here real quick. Starting 26th, I don't think I want any piece of that. Again, it always comes down to math for me. So let's just go look at the matrix. He's starting 26th. We really need, I'll take 4x from him, but he needs 21 points to finish 4x. He needs a 22nd place finish. On road courses, his average run is 29.6, average finish 27.2. Hasn't, he finished the Daytona at 23rd here, but that's going to be just outside of 4x. That's going to be less than 4x there. You could do it. I don't think I am going to do it myself for Davidson. Yeah, you can fit Elliott and Busch for sure. Now that I'm kind of coming down, you look at Ty Dillon here, starting 39th, Ricky Stenhouse, Bubba, I think it will be going to a backup car. I'm not sure if it's an engine change. I haven't been able to check. I'm going to go in and check my news right now as we're on here and see if I can get some information on that. Because if he's changing an engine, there's a good chance. Work being done on Wallace primary will drop to the rear. Okay, so he's going to go to the rear, which doesn't matter. He's already started 36 because he had issues during qualifying, so no problem there. So as long as he's in the primary, I would consider it. Because, the little bit of damage isn't as concerning on a road course as it would be, say, for a 1.5 mile or like a super speed. But he'd be for sure in a backup car. Balicki's going to the rear, so I'm going to mark that off here. Okay, so as of now, Wallace is not going to a backup car, so I would probably looking at, he was the fastest out of those 3 place differential punt plays in practice. Ty Dillon was like dead last. So he would be definitely the riskier of the 3, in my opinion. I didn't get to see practice, unfortunately. Stenhouse would probably be, looking at the road courses this year and those 3. Let's go look at Stenhouse and Bubba. So Bubba was 14th, 39th, and 26th. Stenhouse was 37th, 27th, and 18th. So both of them have two mid-range finishes that we could definitely accept today in terms of points paying for their price, and both of them have a crash in there. So there's obviously some risk, but I think at 5,900 and 6K they make sense. Dillon coming in is going to be really risky. I think Stenhouse and Wallace are going to be chalky out of this group. So Dillon would be maybe a bit of a GPP play. I'm not 100% because, I mean, he's starting 39, so maybe not. Maybe he is going to be chalky. He didn't show a lot of, he hasn't shown a whole bunch this season. He hasn't. Just want to grab his. He was 21st at Circuit of America's, 19th at Daytona Road. So I guess it's not as concerning. I would probably even just take that off. He's probably going to be chalky if people are looking at that. So there's three right there. You can take any two of those three and probably fit Elliott and Busch. I'm just bringing up a contest now to share and get in front here. I'm just gonna bring this across, and we'll zoom in here so it's easier to see and look at some contests. I'm going to be looking for this $3 3 entry max as well as a single entry. A little bit of a rush today. And we will punch in, and then we'll go down to that range that I just kind of looked at here. Say we went Stenhouse and Dillon. You're left with 88.50. So Fit and Busch, this is definitely going to be chalky for build here. You can take one of those out. You can go with maybe just one of them. Maybe just go Dillon if you want. It still leaves you 7,800 to come back up into this range. There's a lot of guys in here as well. So they're building a Elliott Busch lineup is not going to be hard. To be honest, if I was doing 20 max, and Dane mentioned this last week with Larson, I mean, no, it didn't work out. But I love his strategy where you either go all in or you don't. I love that. So you have more chances if it goes right to absolutely crush. And if the field's going to be 50 to 60% on Elliott and Busch today, you're going to be 100%. So even if they are super chalk, which they're going to be, you have more than the field. So when they work out and Busch wins the race and Chase Elliott finishes second and they both dominate with 7x and are in the winning lineup, you now have 20 shots to get it right. Versus kind of hedging, I guess you could say, like if you did 10 lineups with the other way that you could do it to maybe do some hedging without losing your overexposure to the field would be to do, say, in a 20 max, 10 lineups, Elliott and Busch core, 5 lineups with an Elliott core, 5 lineups with a Busch core, with leaving the other guy out. That's maybe the rule that you would want to follow in your other 10. That way you still have, you'll have 75% exposure to both, but you'll have 100% of them in every lineup, if that makes sense. So maybe not all in. If you don't want to be the all-in guy where one driver totally kills your entire day, like Elliott or Busch has problems, you're done. This way you still have 5 lineups left, but still be able to have overexposure to the field. So it's going to be easy to fit them in there today, even with Kurt Busch, if you want to fit Kurt Busch in there as well. So this mid-range is going to be kind of important here as well. So let's take a look at that here. That's one thing we haven't talked about here yet. Chase is the chalk today, and I love the response. Asking if Chase is the chase is like asking if people are shooting off fireworks tonight. Yes, definitely. We can't. We have fire bans here right now. It is absolutely dry in Saskatchewan right now. We were able to, with the work of the fire department on July 1st. Actually, the fireworks were for my birthday on July 1st. Let's put it that way. It was just so happened to be Canada today, so they got the fireworks as well. But we had a lot of fire trucks around, but shooting our own off, kind of illegal right now, unfortunately. But whatever. Good. I hope all you guys have so much fun. I wish I could come down there. Back in, I want to say 2015, 2016, I brought the family down to. We went to Minot. It's about a 4-hour drive for me. Drove down to Minot, stayed at the hotel. Spent July 4th going down to the park and festivities down there. It was absolutely incredible. It was extremely hot. It was like, I want to say 100 or 105 that day. So it was kind of crazy going back and forth to air conditioning, but outside. But it was a ton of fun. I can't wait to go back because I will be definitely going back to watch some July 4th. So, all right. So jumping into this mid-range here, sorry I sidetracked there. Very easy for me to sidetrack here today. Looking at baseball projections, keeping that up. Yes, got some, just give me just a couple seconds here. I'm just scrolling through another tab on another screen here, making some adjustments. And I will be back to that mid-range here in just a second. Oh, darn. I hate when I hit the wrong button, trying to do things in a hurry. I 100% appreciate you all coming in. I see right now there's like 75 people. This is, I think, a record for watching the live show. So just absolutely awesome that I am about the most rushed possible that I have ever been trying to do this live show, while also doing baseball projections and stuff. So thank you for joining in and putting up with me, adjusting things on the fly here. I'm having a blast. I was stressed the 2 minutes leading up to this show, but I'm having a blast now. And I thank you all for supporting me and coming in. It really does truly mean a lot to me. Um, and the reason why I decided to do the show and not drop top MLB stack. I haven't looked a ton at MLB in terms of my top plays. Chicago and Minnesota, definitely. Probably Chicago because of the park factor, but Minnesota against Brad Keller and his 1.9 whip makes a lot of sense. Jumping down into the NASCAR mid-range here, Christopher Bell has shown a lot of speed at the road courses. He won the Daytona road course. Overall, it's been a disappointing season, but starting 13th, he looked good. He was top 10 speed in practice. So at 8K, I think he makes sense. Going and looking at the matrix for Bell here. I can't even find him. There we go. Boy, oh boy. Scrolling over. So he gets 5X with 0 dominator points with a 40. That's a top 5 finish. That's 5th. So I don't think that's as risky. I think we could use him as possibly a core play because of that, because I do think he is a 5th to 8th place car. I don't think an 8th place at 35.5 points is going to kill you. It's about 4.5X. So Christopher Bell, I think, is a great play just with his road course experience and what he's done. If we just go look at Bell here this year, 24th, he got in a crash. So it hasn't been great since that Daytona. So maybe there is a little bit of risk, but at 8K, I don't mind it down here at all. If you're looking for that final guy after we talked about Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, and then combining 2 of these cheap guys, or if you like other guys, I haven't touched on anyone else yet. Liz mentioned Eric Jones starting 21st. That makes a lot of sense. He's been a really good road course racer this season, 11th, 16th, and 14th, extremely consistent. Even in the 43 car, that's what Bubba was in last year for RPM. So it's really good to see Jones on kind of that's, riding high right now, I guess you could say. He's coming off a good start. He's been excellent here. And by far, he has the most DK FanDuel average on road courses going back to the start of the 2020 season. He is going to be a core play for me. I think I made that green. There we go. He's going to be a core play for me just simply because, okay, Dane's rankings are up, everyone. He's filling them in right now. So for members, he will have those rankings filled in here if you guys want to go check those out. So yeah, Eric Jones, especially on FanDuel, 4,900. Yeah, like you can pretty much plug in anyone you want after plugging Eric Jones in on FanDuel. Same with DraftKings. So my build right now, we're going to go back over here and we're going to put Jones in. Leaves you 7,500. So if you go again and grab one of those punts, let's go down here, off the top of my head, Ty Dillon here. So those 4 right there, that leaves you 8,500. You can grab some place differential with Kevin Harvick here. You can jump up to Kurt Busch. There is so many ways to build lineups today. It's going to be very chalky. So I would suggest of the guys that I think are going to be highest owned, just looking at the sheet right now, I have no ownership projections in front of me. This is just my guess. You're going to have Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, probably in GPPs, 50% plus, 50 to 60, maybe even reaching 65%. Kyle Busch especially, he's got a little bit of a discount starting way at the back as well. Those 2 for sure. I think Kurt Busch is going to be in there. I think Eric Jones at starting 21st. We're going to see Austin Dillon and Chase Briscoe. They both showed a lot more speed than Eric Jones in practice, 10th and 15th here. So what I like about them is that both of them are on the track. They kind of got screwed out of their laps during those qualifying. So I don't think they're as slow as the 37th and 35th showed. Those red flags played huge in that first round of qualifying. So those 2 are going to be chalky as well. So I think your chalk build is definitely going to You know what? Jones might end up being I'm not going to make him a GPP play because I do like him here, but most owned out of this group. So if you want to, the core build, obviously, like we talked about, I'm going to repeat it. Elliott, Kyle Busch. You're probably going to get one or two of these guys down in here at 68, 6,700 because just alone, Elliott and Busch leaves you 7,300. So you can easily go and plug those two in at 6,800 and 6,700, and that still leaves you 7,900. So there, I'm guessing just with place differential today, there's your place differential chalk build right there. I think you can, instead of running Dillon and Briscoe together, you could take out one of them and you could put in Eric Jones. That's going to lower your ownership a little bit. And because you don't really have to, I think you can even go down to those three guys now. I don't think they're going to be as owned. And I'm working my way through this. So I'm not trying to I'm not trying to look not prepared. But I was literally filling in qualifying and plays as I was hitting the live and getting the show ready. So I'm working my way through this and looking at this. So the chalk, Dillon, Briscoe for sure. In this range are going to be the highest owned, and I think they're probably going to be 3 and 4 with Eric Jones inside the top 5 of ownership behind Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott. I think then we move down to Wallace Stenhouse and Ty Dillon in terms of ownership. So and then Kurt Busch. Christopher Bell is probably going to end up being a little bit lower owned for sure. So I like that as a GPP play. He was a GPP play for me last week as well. So I think this mid-range, we do see a lot of lower ownership. AJ Allmendinger, I think Byron as a dominator is going to be low owned. I think Larson's going to be quite a bit low owned. He's number 2 in my model here. So if he goes ahead and dominates, I'm going to plug that in here one more time now that I've actually got the right formulas going. I'm even just going to give him 30 lap slide and 10 fast laps. That gets him kind of in that 5.5x range. I think that's fine. So he's a GPP play at probably lower ownership here as well, with a chance to hit 5.5, 6x, even 6.5x if he absolutely dominates. Which, like I said, there's been 3 road course races this season. There's been dominators in 2 of them, 44, and I believe Larson led. Go back here. You'd think I'd remember this by now. 57 lap sled. So the Chevys have dominated in 2 of the 3 road courses. So it definitely could happen again. Larson and Byron are my picks there. I am actually going to highlight Larson as a GPP play here just because I think the lower ownership, because of all the guys that I just mentioned, like 7 or 8 of them that I think are ahead in ownership, just because of the place differential. Shorter race, there's only 62 laps. Place differential is going to play key here. Just type in something here. Okay, so that's going to be the chalky build, and I went through and I talked about that. I want to bring up some PrizePicks here as well. Let me just get that set up. You don't need to watch me do that here, doing all that. So what I'm going to be looking at with PrizePicks today, it looks like, oh, beautiful. So I'll go back and I'm going to share the screen here again. So with PrizePicks today, we get a lot of drivers to choose from. That's awesome. So over on the sheet, if you go to PrizePicks Score, if you're trying to figure this out at home, figure out PrizePicks. You maybe want to give it a try. I have the PrizePicks scoring tab to show you. This is also found on PrizePicks just by going to the scoring chart, going to NASCAR, scrolling down your finishing position points, and then 0.01 points per lap led. Not worried about that at all today. Whoops, brought that calculator over here. Because, like, at 0.01 points, if someone leads 40 laps, they're only getting 0.4 points. So it's not even give you that 0.5 of these over-unders there yet. So it's just a non-factor for me. Yeah, ownership, I just went over the guys I thought are going to be owned here. I'll do it one more time before I talk PrizePicks. It's going to be Busch and Elliott. Number 1 is Busch, I think. Number 2 is Elliott. Just because it's so easy to build a lineup with those 2, they're going to be the highest owned because of their elite place differential. I think the place differential guys are going to be the highest owned. Now that we come down here, I think Austin Dillon and Briscoe are going to probably be 3 and 4. Don't know which order. In terms of road courses this season, Dillon and Briscoe, 17th, 6th, 32nd, 12th, 13th, and 34th. So they both had trouble at Daytona Road. They've both been consistent since. So I like them both. I think they're 3 and 4. I think Jones probably fits into top 5. Maybe, depending on how starts and scrub people build, instead of just going full on place differential. I think maybe one of Wallace, Stenhouse, and Dillon sneak into that top 5 of ownership. If not, they're definitely all going to be top 10, and that is 8 of the top 10, I think, in ownership right there. Kurt Busch, I think, falls into that top 10 as well. And then, honestly, I think it's going to be Kyle Larson or William Byron. I'm probably going to be Kyle Larson simply because how red hot he's been. Also, starting second, number 2 in my model. I think that stands out, for my members anyway. And the price is, he's finally back down below Elliott. Obviously, it's the road course experience. But like I mentioned early in the show, Byron's cheaper. He's starting from the pole. That's been the trend of the dominators on road courses. You obviously get the preferred line going into that turn number 1. So that's huge for the pole sitter. He's 1,100 cheaper, so there's less risk in getting to the top upside. Especially FanDuel, it's no question. I will fade Larson on FanDuel today at 14,000, just simply because Elliott's 500 more, 1,500 less for Busch, and his teammate William Byron, if you're looking at that dominator, is like 2,800 less. So that's the way I'm looking at that. I think Dinger comes in cheap. I think he makes a great GPP pivot here. But he's starting third. I don't think he's going to have a chance to dominate. He might. It's even more risk than Byron and Larson, but he will be starting behind Byron, which would be preferred. So maybe Dinger is the preferred dominator over Larson. That's tough to say. I don't think it's going to happen, but you could definitely look at it that way in your builds and be very contrarian and get away from some of that chalk. So now I want to go, before I jump into PrizePicks, there are some questions here regarding DraftKings and FanDuel stuff. So I'm going to go over that here real quick as well. Let me jump over to that. Orion Newman in the house. This is crazy because this is same day qualifying. Like how do you even have time to jump to your camper while you're getting your car ready, getting your suit on, having some water, getting ready for the race, and here you are watching my live show? Like, this is absolutely amazing. I appreciate it. Okay, so going back, I'm just going to scroll through, look at some questions. I even answered an MLB question, so that's awesome. I see Elliott, Busch, and Briscoe super heavy. I agree with franchise fields here. I think that makes a lot of sense. Can't decide on Kurt, Harvick, or Blaney. Okay, so let's address that here real quick. So we got Harvick in 25th. Kurt Busch is definitely number 1 for me. I know he's starting 16th. He's been a lot better, as you can tell. Comes down to road courses. He's got an average finish that is 6.5 places better, 9 places better in terms of average run, and 27 points, DK points, and 17 FanDuel points per race better. So it's Kurt Busch for sure when I'm ranking those. Harvick and Blaney, it's going to be close. Still, Blaney has been better on the road courses. He's had better average finish, been pretty close in terms of average run. So it's very close with Harvick and Blaney, but I would go Blaney, Harvick. So I got Kurt Busch, Blaney, Harvick for that question. I like franchise saying that he's taking a chance on Bell to get away from some of the chalk. Yes, I think he's going to be outside the top 10 in ownership. Any of the guys I didn't mention, I think I should be close. I would think 8 of the 10 guys that I mentioned in my top 10 of ownership projections will be inside there. So anyone that I didn't mention there, if you take 2 of the guys that are going to be outside the top 10 and mix them with those chalk guys, I have no problem going with the chalk today. And going with 2 guys just to kind of offset that and make your lineup a little bit more so you're not splitting with 7,000 people today. Okay, just scrolling through some more questions. CC Hap 2 says a Brewer stack. I can go with you on that. Austin, Dillon, and Briscoe, definitely going to see some ownership there. Like I talked about, probably both top 5. Any love for Reddick or McDowell? Yes, I think Reddick at his price, he showed a ton of speed out there. Looking at his practice, he didn't show it, in practice, he showed top 5 speed. Qualifying, he showed it. He would have had the pole if he wouldn't have spun around that one of those final few turns. So Reddick at 7,800, I do like here. I'm actually going to change him as a core. Thanks for bringing that up. And Bell more as a GPP pivot here. And that's a good place for bringing in the matrix here, because Reddick needs, for 5X, he needs 39 points, which puts him 3rd. So kind of right around where he starts, he needs to finish to hit 5X, whereas Bell needs a 5th place finish. So it's very close. There's risk with both to hit 5X, but I do like Reddick a little bit more. He showed a little bit more speed for sure. in qualifying and in practice. So it would be Reddick over Bell for me in that range, which I think also puts Bell even more lower ownership. So I do like that GPP play going back to that. All right, working my way down here, getting to Orion Newman. I'm going to open my Vegas site and let it load while I am. Okay, give me just 2 seconds here. Scrolling through this page. And it's loading so slow right now. It like knows I'm trying to do 17 things at once and is just like, no, we'll take our time today. I know you're getting 200 speed from Elon Musk, but your laptop is slow as shit. Sorry, talking to myself now. Definitely going crazy. This is the Chris is Going Crazy Sunday live show. Welcome, everyone. Okay, that's loading for NASCAR. Give you a look at this cool bet that I work on. I've got the Nelson Cruz, Minnesota coming through. He was scratched for baseball. Of course, everything all at once. This is absolutely insane. So to win the race, I don't mind because I got Larson at number 1. That gives some value to Elliott. I know he falls behind because of where he qualified. Other plays that I like, Kyle Busch, like he won here yesterday. He's been red hot lately, probably racing some of the best of the season right now. So definitely him. William Byron, I really like that number at plus 1100 on Byron. If you think Allmendinger is a GPP play and you're playing him in your lineups, he needs to pretty much win and get some dominator points in there, even if it's only like 10 laps left or whatever. But if you think that's going to happen for DFS, not a bad number for betting on him as well here. So I'll definitely look at that. And then going down, yeah, it's pretty tough after that in terms of picking a winner. So I guess to sum that up, you could go, you could do 2 bets and go with Byron and Allmendinger. I think that can make some sense here as well today. I don't know what number everywhere else is getting, or Kyle Busch. There's just a lot more risk with the win coming from the rear, but I would take that risk with Kyle Busch over Elliott, and I'm not really interested in these numbers at all. I'd never like a 2.5 to 1 or 3.5 to 1, especially from a guy coming from the rear or someone that's too low of a number. There's just not a whole lot of value there. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of picks to win today. Looking at PrizePicks, and I'm just going to slip the NASCAR sheet over to another screen so I can look at these points and easily reference that. So first up, Kyle Busch would be a 7th or better. I think that is a fine play there. William Byron, again, I keep coming back to him. He only needs a 9th or better here today, so he's definitely on my board as a top PrizePicks play. Kurt Busch at 27.5. That is a 13th or better for him. So I like that one in there as well. Christopher Bell's not bad. 27.5 gets you. That's a 13th or better for him as well. That's right where he starts. So finish better than he starts. That's fine. Michael McDowell's a good road course racer. He needs a 16th to break even. So I'm not really interested in that. So honestly, with all these picks here, I'm not a big fan of all the overs. Byron and Kurt Busch would probably be my top 2 if I'm doing a 2-play power play here. If you're looking for information on PrizePicks, definitely join me in chat. I posted a big thing on PrizePicks yesterday, how it works. You're picking 2, 3, 4, or 5 drivers, players. You can mix it between, if you want to go 2 drivers, you want to mix it with some baseball plays, definitely go ahead and do that. Like if you come over to MLB pitchers here, and I usually like the single stat, looking at strikeouts. So if you want to go Blake Snell under on strikeouts with your 2 NASCAR drivers on over, you can do that. A power play means you need to get all the picks correct. A flex play means you can get 1 pick correct, but your payout's going to be a little bit less if you get all of them right, but you're still going to get some money back if you get 1 wrong. So that's how PrizePicks work. Check the link below in the description. It has code Jaeger. You can use that. There's also a link in the description below to sign up there. It's going to get you 100% match deposit match bonus when you sign up. So definitely go check out PrizePicks. All right, I'm going to scroll through questions here once more, and then I'm going to let you go start building my 3 lineups for today. Yeah, Austin Dillon starting 37th. I can't fade that. I'm going to bring this back across here. and just look at the matrix. It just, first of all, I talked about Austin Dillon this season on road courses. Since crashing at the Daytona Road, he's gone 12th and 13th, starting 16th and 6th. So he's had some good returns on fantasy points at his prices in those races with some negative place differential and very little positive place differential. Today, he's super cheap, sub 7K, starting 37th. He gets you 6x with a 13th place finish. That has been his average over the last 2 road course races, and that's 6x. I think he can, get up into top 10. We're talking 7-8x upside for Austin Dillon and Chase Briscoe here, because they're both have upside of 5th to 10th, in my opinion. They both have 7 to 8x upside. I don't think you can fade that completely. If you're doing 20 max and you're fading Dillon and Briscoe, I think you're doing it wrong. It may not work out. Don't get me wrong. This is just, maybe it's a bold call, whatever. But if I was doing 20 max, I would probably have 50% of them. I would probably run, like I said, with Elliott and Busch running. Maybe if you want to go in a 20 max build, one strategy could be 10 lineups with them paired together, 5 lineups with just one of them, and then 5 lineups with the other one. I think you could do the same in terms of Dillon and Briscoe, who are also going to be top 5 in ownership. Is you can run, I would probably limit it to like 5 to 6 times I would run them together in a lineup, just because there's more risk in these drivers. They're not nearly as talented as Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott. So there is more risk for sure of them moving up through the pack, capitalizing on that place differential. So I would probably limit my Dillon Briscoe to 5 to 6. And in my builds where I have Elliott and Busch together, I would probably limit running Dillon and Briscoe together to maybe 2 or 3 of those 10 lineups where Elliott and Busch are together in that lineup, just to kind of keep your lineups a little bit different. But you still have those 2 to 3 shots if all 4 of those top 4 owned drivers, which I project to be, end up being in the chalk line or end up being in the winning lineup. They all finish top 10. 2 of them top 5 or 3 of them top 5, one of them winning, and they're all in the lineup. You still have 2 or 3, even 4, I think is fine, going up to 40% of your Elliott Busch builds. So if that makes sense in terms of strategy, I want to talk a lot strategy today, because yes, we know who are going to be the chalk drivers. How do we now go about taking that information of who we think is going to be projected, who we think is going to give us the biggest upside? How do we go about constructing multi-entry lineups now? And that's really how I'm looking at that today. I won't get to do 20 max just because I'm going to run out of time. I see there's more MLB lineups coming in as we speak right now. So I'm going to be getting off here and putting those in. I'm going to be doing single entry and a 3-entry max. And I will be playing some chalk, but I will probably, my single entry is probably going to consist of Elliott and Busch, and then probably Dillon over Briscoe, and then I might fit Jones in. I don't think I'm going to run all 4 of Elliott, Busch, Dillon, and Briscoe in the same single entry, but I do think I'm going to run 3 of them, and then kind of differentiate with those other 3. I may come down and grab one of Wallace, Stenhouse, and Dillon to get me up to maybe Kurt Busch. It's going to be a very chalky single entry, but I think if I wanted to, I could probably even go Bell and Reddick in there as well, just to get a little bit lower on the ownership. That's how I'm building. That's a strategy I would employ if I was doing 20 max today. If I was doing 150 max, I would take my 20 max discussion that I just talked about, or my strategy, and I would just amplify that a little bit more. I would maybe run, I'd split it up into thirds rather than half, and maybe run 50 of my 150 lineups with Elliott, Busch together, and then maybe 50 lineups with just Elliott and 50 lineups with just Kyle. That way, you're expanding. And if one of them has issues, sure, you lose. Well, you're going to lose 100 lineups if one of them goes, but you're still going to have 50 lineups in there. So if you want to be heavy on the field, if you want to be a little bit less risky, maybe do 50 with Busch and Elliott together, and then maybe 25 with one of them, 25 with the other, and then the other 50 if you want to be completely contrarian, which I don't. It's 150 lineups. You can definitely go that route when building 150. Is fade them. You can definitely go that route if you want to, or just build with them in those lineups. Maybe just build them really contrarian. So go Elliott in one, and then just avoid the other chalk guys. That's just some ideas of how to build. So I'm going to keep going down. McDowell's great on road courses. Yep. I don't think he's going to be high owned by any means. I think he's going to be outside the top 10. He has 2 top 10s on road courses this season. I'm not a fan of where he's starting is all. 18th, I think his high is probably around 10th, which I think, gives him a lot of upside. If he gets 10th, that's 35 points. That's between 4 and 5x. So I don't think he has near as much upside for more money than Dillon or Briscoe have here. So I think he's kind of the same ownership range, even lower owned than Jones. Maybe a pivot off those guys if you think he can finish 5th to 8th, which puts him in that 6x range. So if that's how you feel he finishes 5th to 8th, 5th to 10th, I think he is an excellent GPP pivot off these lower chalk plays. Newman or Ricky? You know what? I haven't even talked about Newman today. I wanted to look at his road course. All right, Chris, let's just do a search, seeing as we can't just pick him out of a lineup. Yeah, he's just been getting progressively worse on road courses this season. 20th, 24th. I believe that was a crash at Sonoma as well. So if it comes down to those two that you're choosing between, it's Ricky for me. Smash that gosh darn like button, folks. I appreciate that. That really does help. If you guys could hit that like button, share, go on Twitter. If you can like and share the link I shared on Twitter as well, it just helps the algorithm, helps people get in here, helps build the show, and it's obviously worked. I thank you all. I've seen over 80 people watching live at one point and for consecutive, 10, 15 minutes. I really do appreciate that. Again, I'm just sharing my opinion. I'm sharing my research on the sheet. I'm not an expert by any means. I'm not winning hundreds of thousands of dollars like some of these people out there. What I'm really, really good at is putting the information together on the sheet, deciphering it. Unfortunately, I don't get the time to play because, like, my Patreon is 13 Sports. I handle almost every single one of those sheets on the back end. I don't get to play as much as I used to, which really makes me sad because 20 Max was my favorite. Baseball, hockey, PGA, NASCAR, playing all these sports. LOL, I like playing 20 Max when we started doing that in the pandemic. So I'm back to playing some LOL, but generally I'm playing a single entry lineup in all of these. So I don't get a chance, but I love to discuss my strategies because I have used them in the past. So again, these are just my opinions on here. And I appreciate all of you coming on here, sharing your opinions, all of you who've signed up and are a member of my Patreon, a member of DFSR, who share your opinions as well. I love learning together. And that's what we're trying to create over on Patreon, even on DFSR, is just a community that we can all get together, share our ideas, and not pretend that one of us or a few of us are better than others. And you should all listen to us. Not at all. I'm just sharing my opinion, boys and girls. All right. David Evans says he's got Kyle Busch, Elliott, Harvick, Kurt Busch, Stenhouse, and Wallace. What do you think? Very chalky. Harvick probably gets you a little bit off that chalk, but he gives you place differential. I'm not high on him today myself, but I think that lineup is completely fine. Toronto, San Diego stack. You got to stack the Blue Jays right now. Don't stack their bullpen. It's absolutely trash, but the offense is putting up 5 to 8 runs, like it seems like almost every single day. Dane's rankings. If you are a member, there is a rankings tab. You can see that here. It's in red. Those rankings will be filled out here just shortly before the race, and there'll be, like, generally it's going to be the top 10. So those will be up on there. So definitely go check those out. If you're a member, if you're not a member, head over to patreon.com/JagerBombs. You can sign up for one sport for $10 American or all sports for $20 American. You can get a 16% discount if you sign up for yearly. That gets you access to the Slack chat. And I'm just going to bring that up over here. So this is our Slack chat. Sorry, wrong. We converted over to Discord. It's been a very awesome experience over on Discord. So this is kind of what it looks like. We got channels for every single sport. I got NASCAR news channels where I feed in Bob Pockers' Twitter and some other relevant Twitter stuff. So we get the up-to-date news, who's going to the back, who qualified where. We get driver interviews, stuff like that. So it's very awesome in there as well. So go check that out, patreon.com/JagerBombs. And then you'll get the rankings in there as well, which are for members only. Dane and I have also been doing a little bit more getting into members only. We have this app called Awesome Screenshot. It allows us to make some quick videos. So if you guys got questions in chat, DM us. We can make you a quick video explaining anything on the sheet, strategies, picks, anything like that. We've been doing a lot of that for our members now that we've changed our business plan, changed the Patreon JagerBombs Fantasy Sports business plan. I hope you all like it. If anyone has suggestions, please. This whole business was built on you guys giving me suggestions on what to add to the sheets and what to provide in chat, what to do with the videos. So give me your feedback. whether it be in the comment section, whether it be in chat, whether it be on Twitter. Give me your feedback, and I will try and add anything. You should see my list. I have a list of things to add to the sheet, content to add, videos to do, tutorial videos to do. It's literally pages long. I'm moving things around in priority sequence all the time, daily, of things to add right away, things that will be added in the future. It's all your guys' suggestions, and I really do appreciate that. So I just wanted to get that across here before I look at my final questions here and then take off. Looks like we've been on here for almost an hour. Holy crap. No Dane, and I can't shut up. Go figure. Reddick 55-1 on FanDuel. That's a nice number. I would lay a bet on that 100%, Ricky. That's actually his name, too, if anyone's watching, not paying attention to the chat. Ricky Boyd, thank you for joining in today. I really do appreciate it. Do I like Austin Dillon more than Briscoe? Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I will have more Dillon than Briscoe if you're looking to split those up, and not just because of the two place differential here. I'm more on Dillon here. Stenhouse, yes, talked about Stenhouse early. Down in this lower range, I like Wallace, Stenhouse, and Dillon almost exactly the same. If we're talking FanDuel, I like Wallace a little bit more, but I don't think, if we're talking FanDuel, I would probably punt Ty Dillon. I think that could get you all the elite drivers. I don't think that's going to be the chalk build either, because you're going to be able to afford Elliott and Kyle Busch, and Kurt Busch is only 8,500. Byron, like I said before, is only 11.2. It would be my dominator pick over on FanDuel. My dominator pick overall, but I just mean over Larson for sure, just because of the price differential. Thank you, Wade. I really do appreciate it. All right. So I got through all the questions here. I'm going to wrap things up. Once again, if you're looking for my content on the sheet, all of my picks, rankings, discussions in chat, all the news, anything to do with any of these sports that I cover, and there's 13 different membership levels right now. And then there's the all sports package here. Go over to patreon.com/Jagerbombs. You can click the show more. It shows you all that you get in each and every tier. Check that out. 100%. $10 a month American, $13.50 per month Canadian. That is for one sport, and then it is $27.50 Canadian, or $27 Canadian for all sports, and that is $20 American for all sports. Like I said, that gets you access into the Discord and all the members only perks that go along with it. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Enjoy the race today. Road America. Happy July 4th. I want to see pictures, videos shared in Discord chat tonight. I want to see all the fireworks, all the beer drinking, all the shenanigans. Bring it on. All members chat. Let's do it, everyone. Good luck out there. We'll see you in chat.